You're welcome to the Messiah channel. The children of Judah must prepare for the kingdom of God at the time when the Gentile nations are preparing for war. The Gentile nations are preparing for war, and recently in October, you saw Putin engaging his forces in a nuclear drill. Putin were doing nuclear drill, and they were preparing to take UK and USA from the face of the map. The nuclear drill had the objective of rehearsing how to nuke United States and UK and take them off from the face of the earth. NATO and the United States also did their nuclear drill, and for the first time in about 80 years, United States deployed the most elite force in Europe, and also sent their largest nuclear submarine through the seas to test the waters. At the time of making this video, there was a poll in the United States, and according to that poll, 2/3 of Americans believe that they are witnessing the worst situation in the United States as far as their memory can tell them. Some people are working 16 hours a day to survive. So economically, things are not going on well in the United States. Commodities are in short supply, including diesel. And in Europe, electricity is in short supply. Cost of living is skyrocketing, and people on the streets. Governments are falling. In the UK, 3 prime ministers have come and gone in a very short period of time. If you go to Iran, they are testing a hypersonic weapon, and the hypersonic weapon is supposed to travel as fast as 5 times the speed of sound, and they expect that that hypersonic weapon can penetrate the defenses of nations, including the United States. And now that Benjamin Netanyahu has come back as the Prime Minister of Israel, there's speculation that Israel may try to preempt the Iranian threat by taking off the nuclear facilities in Iran. And so tension is going on between Iran and Israel. In the same way that there's tension going on between United States and Russia. And recently, the commander of U.S. strategic forces said that the big one is coming. And when he talks about the big one that is coming, he's talking about China. Potentially, there could be war between the United States and China with regard to Taiwan. China would like to take Taiwan by force, liberate Taiwan. And so if you look at the major powers, they are preparing for war. United States and NATO are preparing for war. Russia is preparing for war. China is preparing for war against the United States. And according to Chinese intelligentsia, they expect that a war between China and the United States will occur before 2049, before 100 years of the anniversary of the founding of the Chinese Communist Party. If you look at United States, because they are preparing for war, they are even changing their nuclear doctrine. And now the United States is considering the use of first strike, preemptive nuclear strike. Since nations are preparing for war, their nuclear doctrines are being reformed. They are rethinking their nuclear strategies as well as plans for war. Daniel chapter 2 says that God changes kings. He sets up kings and he dethrones kings. And in recent times, you see circulation of elites, changes in government powers. If you look at the United Kingdom, 3 prime ministers coming in a very short time. If you look at Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu is coming again to take over the premiership in Israel. If you look at the elections in the United States, miraculously, Trump lost 2020, and we are not sure what will happen to him come 2024. Some people thought that Trump is the Zyros, is the Messiah for Israel and for United States. But things didn't go as they thought. The Gentile nations are moving towards war, and Jerusalem will be trodden by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles. At the time that nations are preparing for war, I believe that if you are a child of God, you need to prepare for the kingdom of the Messiah. The signs going on among nations, when nations are preparing for war, it tells you that the world is ending. The Messiah is coming, and prophecies need to be fulfilled. Matthew chapter 24 says that in the days before preceding the coming of the Messiah, there will be wars and rumors of war, and there will be distress of nations. But people are not thinking about that. Leaders are thinking about whether to include insects as part of diet, whether to allow 6-year-old child to be able to change his or her gender. This is what people are talking about in the United States. And leaders are talking about climate change. And for most people, they are talking about how to prep in terms of emergency, in terms of war, what to include in your preparation. They are not preparing for the coming of the kingdom of God. When the Gentile nations are preparing for war, it is because they are about to be overthrown. Daniel 2:44 says that there's a kingdom that is coming. It will overthrow all the existing kingdom, and that kingdom will be the everlasting kingdom. And so prophecy is being fulfilled. Daniel 2:44 is now about to be fulfilled, and that's why we see Gentile nations preparing for war, and some of them will kill themselves. So Putin is planning to take UK and USA off the map, and they have apocalyptic weapons, whether you're talking about Satan II missiles, whether you're talking about the Belgorod, Poseidon drones, and that can wipe out entire coastal cities in the United States and also in Europe. And when you are looking at all these events, what comes into mind is that the Gentile nations are preparing for war, they are preparing for domination, and you also see that the big powers are going to fall, and all the powers will fall, but there's a kingdom that will last forever. Is the kingdom of the Messiah, is coming very soon, and all the nations are preparing for that. They are aware that they are in their last days. The Gentile powers, they know that their time is up. Some of them will be destroyed, and those that will not be destroyed will be judged when the Messiah comes, because the prophecy says that when the Messiah comes, he will gather all things that are offensive to God and will destroy them. And some of these nations will be destroyed when the Messiah comes. And the Gentiles that are trodden over Jerusalem, the time will come. Their time will come. The city of Jerusalem will be trodden by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is up. And this is the time, as you see, the Gentile nations themselves preparing for war to destroy themselves. And as you see, civilizations, including Western civilization, being destroyed and going through all kinds of calamities and distress. And as you see these events, you must lift up your eyes, because the time for your redemption is come. My message for the children of Judah is that you must prepare for the kingdom of your Father that is coming by accepting Yeshua, by accepting the gospel. Move away from sin, prepare, watch and pray as the Gentile nations prepare for war. You should not prepare for bunkers. You should prepare to accept the kingdom of the Messiah that is coming. You will be priests, you'll be apostles, and you'll be prophets in that kingdom. Thank you for this message.